Hi, thanks for joining me today. Are you totally frustrated with the way that your stepchildren don't want to do things or behave in babyish ways when really they should be able to? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. When you become a step parent, you think that you might be dealing with children who've been brought up with totally a normal experience. But the fact of the matter is that a step family is born of loss. It's born of a loss from something that's happened previously. A family existed previously, and now it has at least changed, even if the losses haven't been great. And when you are step parenting a child that has experienced loss in some way, you can often come across unusual kinds of behaviour or responses to things. They should be able to do this, go here, or their behaviours might irritate you because they're very baby-like. For example, always insisting on eating with a little spoon, or speaking in a baby voice, or behaving in ways that you think they should have moved on from. Or perhaps you're dealing with a child who refuses to go out, or is always ill, always got tummy upsets, always got a headache. These kinds of frustrations as a step parent can be difficult to handle because often you're in a relationship and you want to move on and have good times together. And these children can really pull you back, and you can realise very quickly the kind of limitations that you've got to your life that you thought would be slightly different. So what can you do about this? Well, it can help to start formulating it in your head. So sort of making a list of the irritating things that are happening, or the babyish things that are happening, or the constant requests for things, or the constant reasons why things can't be done. And if you start to make a list, it can become quite apparent quite quickly some common themes. You may be able to connect a number of things together. So they're scared of this, but they're also scared of that, and they're scared of the other. And the connection between those 3 points might become a bit more apparent if you make a list. This list can take a while to compile. You can, do it over a month or 2 and see where it leads you. And then you're in a much stronger position to basically help the child. Because what your automatic reaction is to find it frustrating. And it's difficult not to become irritated. And I'm absolutely with you with that. Absolutely. But the way to get beyond this is to actually try and get to the source of the problem instead of correcting the presenting problem. So if the child is speaking in a babyish voice all the time and it's driving you mad, trying to teach them not to talk in a babyish voice will probably mean that their anxiety, if you want to call it that, will come out somewhere else, and they'll start doing something else that's irritating. It's very unlikely that by correcting the surface symptom that you're going to solve the underlying issue. There's quite a lot of help these days for children who need some professional help. There's play therapists, music therapists, dance therapists, child therapists, and this is an option here if you're finding your child is sort of rooted in anxiety that they can't move on from. But another way to deal with this, if you can, is to do little experiments with the child. So it takes a conversation or two where you can say, well, how about next time this happens, we try something else and come up with something that is a sort of next step to getting over the problem. So if they always eat with a baby spoon, perhaps you could introduce a smaller fork and a knife. If they're scared about going out or social environments, plan something that isn't very threatening and do an experiment and debrief it afterwards and see how they feel. If they suffer tummy aches or headaches, you could come up with a system where they could tell you the moment they began to feel the tummy ache, and then you could sit down and talk to them about what they were thinking that just before that. What are they worried about and what are their concerns? And then, not at the time they've got a tummy ache, obviously, but you can sort of suggest a little experiment to prove that, in fact, what their fears are not substantiated and they can do it. Just plan for little steps and things can improve. A lot of the time, it's just about helping them through the next incremental step to get to be a bit braver and a bit more able to cope. And it can always help to offer them and give them little rewards for accomplishing that next step. So they've got something to really be brave about, or something that they can really try and do, and then they get a gift or a small reward just for doing it. It can make a huge difference to our ability to do things. It can be genuinely very scary for them. We know ourselves when something bad happens to us and then we have to do it again, and we think, oh no, what's the worst that could happen? So it's about overcoming those hurdles with them. It's not easy and it's extremely frustrating. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. Look in our description box below for links to our social media and website.